The squad just pulled up. Welcome.
What's up, guys?
Hey, folks, how are you doing on this wonderful Monday?
We're doing good, man. Excited to talk to you.
Wow, awesome. I think we're waiting for Batman to join us. He was having a couple of issues hooking up to the stream, but great to be here with you today. Excited to talk about Starseed. Great intro talking about some of what you're seeing and looking ahead of too in terms of the prediction markets.
Yeah, man. Thank
sick
you.
video, by the way. That's an awesome video.
Hey, a huge shout out to the Meteorite Collective. They're a great partner of ours. We worked with them to put that video out. They also made one for Shady and Batman too. So
nice. They did a video for us that we started putting at the beginning of our shows in the clips. It was awesome. So we appreciate them too.
There we go. We got the whole squad. All right, let's kick this off because we got a lot to cover. So that being said, we got Dread with us. We got Vaughn, Shady, and Batman. Everyone, all four. You guys are obviously a part of the team at Starseed. Can you guys start by firstly just telling us a bit about Starseed itself, what it does, and then like each and every one of your roles at in the business?
Yeah, GM, thank you for having us on. Really happy to be here. Super excited. I'm Batman. I'm the CEO here at Starseed. I've been a little bit about me, I guess. So I've been in this space for over 5 years now, actively trading, that is. I got started around the beginning of COVID with the traditional markets. I actually opened up a Robinhood account around, I think, December or November of 2019, right before things really kicked off with COVID. And then I jumped into crypto full time in about 2021 and got my start with SafeMoon. I don't know if you guys have played that or not on the Binance Smart Chain, but that really showed me the crazy world of DeFi and the insane opportunities that you can have here. And then eventually I moved into Solana, got into NFTs and meme coins there. And then last year got into LPing with Meteora specifically. Absolutely love that. Which is kind of why we wanted to build something that could enhance the experience with playing LPs or liquidity provision on Meteora. So we built out Starseed, and the first iteration of it was born in December of 2024 when we joined the Send AI hackathon. And the first iteration of Starseed was actually AI based, where we would ask our AI, what are the top performing pools on Meteora that people could go into? And that was super, super popular. We were getting hundreds upon hundreds of people joining our Discord to use our bot, which was Discord based at the time. And then in January, we really kicked things up a notch by joining the Alliance DAO hackathon. Which was their sprint hackathon, where we had to build an idea essentially in 2 weeks. That was pretty intense. But that's where we came up with our current iteration of Starseed right now, which is an advanced trading platform that unifies a lot of the essential crypto tools that you find into one fully customizable dashboard. So essentially, we want an all-in-one trading platform. So you've got your charts, you've got your top pools widget, you've got a token screener, you've got a wallet that you can interact with. We've added a lot of tooling to that, and we're going to be adding future tooling to it. So it's not just like a wallet viewer; it's a bit more in depth than that. But we have a lot of these tools that will decrease the chances of having a lot of tabs open. Because right now, as it stands, when you're trading, to really trade reliably, I mean, you're going to be hopping between 20 different tabs, right? You've got to have charts, you've got to have screeners, you've got to have your Twitter, you've got to have so much data to process. And I think that actually kind of reduces your efficacy rate when you're trading. So having it all on one dashboard and having it be unique to you, because we have a widget system that you can pull up whatever widget you want. And you can have up to 6 of them at a time. So it's very much unique to your specific trading style. And the layout is unique to how you want it, which is great. we think, because it really is that one-stop shop where you don't have to juggle a lot of stuff. But that's essentially the gist of what Starseed is. We've kind of streamlined everything into one window to help you manage your trades. And that's really one of the biggest selling points right now with Starseed is that intuitive interface. And I don't know, Razor or Shady, if you wanted to add anything there that I may have missed.
Sure thing. Sure thing. Hey, folks. Name's Vaughn Razor. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Starseed. Similar to Batman, I got into financial trading about 5-6 years ago and then transitioned over into crypto. Batman's actually the reason why I got into crypto in the first place. So for better or worse, I'm here because of you. All jokes aside. But that's been a wonderful journey itself, starting with a lot of trading in Binance Smart Chain and then moving into other ecosystems like Polkadot, and then eventually Solana too, through a lot of projects that were interesting like Star Atlas, like DeFi Land, etc. And then stumbling upon DLMMing and liquidity providing with Meteora. That's been a very interesting experience. At Starseed, as the COO, I'm involved a lot with our business operations and standing us up to be a legitimate organization, helping us with our product strategy and trying to think about what we're going to be doing 3, 6, 9 months ahead of time. But also in a lot of ways, like I'm very much in the trenches with Starseed and trading and DLMMing itself. So I'm probably our most active user. I've done over 2,500 different transactions through a Starseed. That's probably processed over hundreds of thousands of dollars of volume to help make fees. So I end up being probably our number one user too with Starseed, which means Shady gets a lot of my product feedback for maybe little bug fixes that need to come up along the way, but it's also really important in terms of helping us guide where we need to go next in terms of our tech, whether that's for DLMMs or trading more broadly in the space. I'll hand it over to Shady.
Hey, it's nice to meet everyone here. I'm Shady. I'm the CTO here at Starseed. I got my computer science degree back in 2018, and while I was in college, I built some NASA-backed image recognition software that flew on suborbital missions and helped launch a high-altitude balloon to live stream the solar eclipse onto NASA's website. And then from 2018, after I graduated, I just been climbing up the corporate ladder and climbed myself into a tech lead role. And then also in 2020, I co-founded a HIPAA-compliant remote patient monitoring startup. Myself and a doctor and my brother, we started that up back then, and we did end up sunsetting it a couple of years ago. And then from 2021, that's whenever I started on Solana. Just started in the NFT era, whenever NFTs were the thing back then. And then in December 2024, I joined Starseed, and that's whenever we started the platform, and it's just a Meteora-focused platform focused on token launches, liquidity, automation, and analytics. And then my main job with Starseed is to develop new features and to make sure everything stays up and running.
There we go. Okay, so that's the whole team, man. I love it. Well, not the whole team, but a good chunk of it. So thank you guys for that breakdown. We have a better understanding of what you guys are doing. And I think you pretty much explained what Starseed does. It's an all-in-one trading platform. You can do whatever you want. And also, at any point, if you guys want to share your screen too and, just show some features and functionality, I think that's a great way to relay that message. I saw an awesome video on Twitter of, I think it was Batman, who was showing how he traded the Easy token and used the ScaleOut feature that you guys offer. And, it worked really well. He made money on fees as well as his profits from the trade. Can you tell us about some of your features that set you guys apart?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think thank you for bringing that up. That's actually a perfect segue into what we wanted to talk about, the features that are rich in Starseed. And ScaleOut is actually an interesting one we built. That was in a direct response, actually, to the Uranus community. I believe their head mod, or one of their head mods that leads that community, reached out to Vesper who helps with the Meteorite Collective. I'm sure everyone knows her name. She's absolutely goated in the space. But they reached out to Meteorite Collective and were trying to find a way to reduce visible sell pressure on the chart. So typically when you're selling spot, you're dumping the chart, right? And you're also losing to slippage. A lot of people don't realize that, especially in areas where there might be low liquidity. When you dump a big position, you're losing a certain percent to slippage. And that's pretty bad because that's reducing your gains. And no one really wants that. So being the LP maxis that we are, we love providing liquidity and we love selling our tokens through liquidity pools. What we did was we came up with this idea for ScaleOut, which was a solution to people who wanted to sell into volume, essentially. So what it does is people can sign into our website with their wallet, and if they go to their wallet holdings, I don't know if I think Razor, you're streaming your screen right now. If you're able to show the scale out layout real quick. So what we did here is we created a default layout that anyone can sign in and they'll select it easily, and it pulls up their token holdings in their wallet. And what they would do is they click the little scale icon and it'll open up a window where it will automatically select the best pool that people can go into for their tokens. So on the Yeezy token, for example, if you see one of our later tweets, where I recorded the video about the scale out, I put all my fees into that. I selected the scale out option. I selected that I wanted to scale out 100% of it using the fast option on here. So it scales it out with a 1% gain, meaning that if the price of the Yeezy token goes up by 1%, I'm totally scaled out. So these are people that are typically trading the token that are buying through my pool and buying my tokens, and I'm collecting a fee on top of that. So you're essentially making your bags work for you, and you're not hurting the chart because you're essentially providing liquidity and people are buying it. So that's a feature we shipped out within a day or so to help address the issues that the community was having with big whales dumping the chart. And in fact, I think we actually got quite a few whales to use the scale out option, which is fantastic. We've like I said, we've tried to simplify it in a way where even those that never interacted with Meteor once, they know nothing about LPing, they don't know anything about DLMMing, which is dynamic liquidity market making, where you provide concentrated liquidity like this. If they don't have to know anything about that, they just have to click scale out, click one of the buttons, and we set up the pool for them, to set up the position for them using predetermined stuff that we think would work well in tokens like this. So you click that, and then it pops up in the LP positions widget, which you kind of see on Razor's screen right now, that tracks all their positions, and that's all they have to look at. They just have to look at that, and once it says it's out of range, they close the position, they collect their SOL, and they may collect some fees on top of that. But it's really that simple. And that's one of the things that we shipped recently that we think is a great onboarding tool. And of course, we're going to iterate on this. I believe Shady will talk about this later on, and how we're going to improve this to really make it a seamless experience for anyone. Because truth be told, there are still some pain points here, right? Like if you don't know what you're doing, like monitoring an LP position, I think it's great if it works out and you get scaled out to the upside. But of course, if it goes down, not everyone will know what to do, right?
So
But
I have a couple questions on this.
oh yeah, for sure.
Specifically around the order type that this is. So
Yeah.
typically people are used to going to Jupiter or Deck Screen, or even just using the widget. They would connect their wallet, click max to sell their tokens, and they sell. And then how the math of an AMM works, it would sell kind of along the curve at some point, which would then result in slippage. So that's one way of doing it, and it's kind of like a market sell. But you do sell, at a lower percentage or a lower price, because that's where the liquidity is. This is a little different. And after I'm explaining this, please correct my understanding of this. Is you're saying, hey, we want to provide our tokens as concentrated liquidity at a specific price along the AMM curve, and then as the tokens get to that price, like it increases 1%, those are the tokens that are being sent out to people, are mine,
Correct.
not random people in the liquidity pool. Is that
correct? Yeah. So it really depends. So I guess I should preface this and say that if you're swapping on something like Jupiter, right, it's working on something called a Metis router, METIS, for anyone that wants to look at it. And basically what it does is it prioritizes liquidity for any swap. So if you are concentrating liquidity in something like Meteora, like in a specific price bin for, say, like launch coin, whatever it's trading at like, what is that, 0.049, Razor?
Correct.
Yeah, 0.049. Like if you're concentrating a lot of
max
liquidity,
paying 0.049? But
yeah,
yes,
no, it's a generational bottom, man. It's a generational bottom.
that's one way to look at it.
So basically what it does is we're concentrating liquidity in that 0.049 price bin. And if someone's swapping on Jupiter, compared to, like, say, an AMM on Radium, we actually might be more competitive on Meteora. So it'll swap through. So Jupiter, if you look at Jupiter, you can like kind of see the routing. If you expand the advanced options, and you can see that it'll most likely route through Meteora, or route some of your order through Meteora. And that's kind of like what we're counting on. And typically it works that way. I mean, Jupiter will usually prioritize routing through Meteor, especially if there's a lot of concentrated liquidity in a position, which there typically is on a high volume token. So let's say you were the one that was swapping and you were wanting to buy launch coin, you most likely would be buying through our pool, as long as it's competitive, like I said. But if you're going into the top pool, you likely are going to be competitive.
Yeah.
That's the one we're selecting.
And so then on the chart, what this would look like is the next buy order wouldn't necessarily tick it up outside of that 0.49 range, given that obviously, you have tokens still there to sell. So it would just kind of, what would it, just the minute candles would just kind of oscillate in that range? Or like, how does it impact the chart when you say minimizing the chart? Like what does it look like? Because if there's not liquidity and someone puts a buy order in, it would spike it, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I guess you could say that it can reduce volatility. If I think that's what you might be asking, just because
I'm trying to help people visualize
Yeah.
why this system versus just market selling it 100% on.
Yeah, so it's actually funny you say that. We did put out a few case studies on our X, where we go over people that dump the chart. I don't know, Razor, if you're able to pull that up or not.
I'm looking to pull it up now.
Yeah, sure. And then we can just go over that. But essentially, if you're just straight dumping the chart, right, you'll see in one of these case studies, you actually can lose out as much as like 10, 20, 30% with how some of those
Did Batman drop off? Let's see. Can you folks hear me?
Yep, we can hear you just fine.
Great. Yeah, and so it's an instance where if you just dump buy and sell using typical swap features, you're losing out on slippage because there isn't an intermediary who is providing the liquidity, being that market maker who is taking up the trade for you on your behalf. So we were looking at this token that was a Bags token called Buy the Hat, who is a major whale, had accumulated a significant portfolio size or position size. And they did some sells here, right around this 14 million mark, causing some huge red candles. But if they were scaling out their position while the token was appreciating, there would be liquidity there to help alleviate that pressure, that sell pressure. And that wouldn't have caused a cascading sell effect here. So it wasn't good.
I think you might be trying to show something. We're seeing your dashboard still for the Starseed.
There
it is, yeah.
Beautiful. So here's a chart screenshot from our Twitter account for this buy the hat token. And we looked at how this holder had accumulated a significant position size at around, started selling it off in a single clip or a few clips here at around this 14 million market cap level, which of course at that level of market cap, selling 45,000 or hundreds of $1,000s causes a huge red candle. But if they were selling that while the token was appreciating through a scale out DLMM, then that would have prevented some of the negative buy pressure and de-escalation on the chart.
Okay,
Right.
so if I'm a whale and I want to use a scale out method, am I more or less, to simplify it, am I more or less doing OTC with willing buyers instead of using the liquidity pool that they would typically use?
Could you say the question again?
Yeah, so if I'm this whale trying to scale out, and I'm just trying to understand this a little bit better, essentially, instead of using the liquidity pool you would typically use to just market sell, am I essentially at some level kind of participating in OTC and you guys are routing that or making that happen?
Sort of. It's sort of like instead of in any case, like there is some middleman in the equation, whether that's Jupiter with the Metis router. But if you are doing it through scale out, you're effectively exchanging your tokens with someone like me right now. Let's say I have my launch coin position open right now. If I was a launch coin whale and I was selling my tokens, they would be effectively exchanging it over the counter with me, who's provided liquidity. Except that's orchestrated through Meteora. I'm just the individual providing the liquidity. And in this case, Meteora is the middleman.
Right. I think like this is some of this is AMM math. So actually I might just help people visualize this a little bit with this graph. So how what you'll see is DLMM works is these are price bins. So let's say this is the current market price. You have price above and price below. So let's say launch coin 0.49. You have 0.05, you have 0.06, et cetera, and then same with the other way, 0.48, 47, 46. And so what you're doing is stacking supply in these price feeds. So as price goes up, starts to go up, you're kind of selling the tokens in that bin. So that's kind of how people should think about it. People may have seen this equation for how AMMs work. So you basically have quantity of token B. So this could be SOL, and quantity of token A. This could be, the seed token. And as you have more seed token in there, it, kind of slides down. Now, that's just my high level understanding. Please correct me, but this might just help people visualize.
Yeah, no, that's essentially it. We actually do have some nice slides that go over this, so maybe we should have pulled those up. But yeah, no, this is essentially how the DLMM works, and that's kind of what we're telling people to use.
Yeah. So to Dom's question, it's not necessarily an OTC private market. It's still a market that's there, but the order only gets supplied or triggered when the price reaches that range.
Correct. Yeah. And when it's competitive. So like there are lots of options of various bin steps is what they call it, and fee ranges on Meteor. So like there's a 5%, there's a 10% fee. If you go 10% fee on a very high market cap token, I mean, like say Sol USDC, you're not going to get any volume through that, like absolutely zero volume, just because you can't be competitive with the smaller fee pools like on Radium, Orca, or the smaller fee pools that people are providing on Meteora itself. So there is a bit of math and nuance to it. You can't just go into any pool. And that's kind of what we filter out. So we just give people the best fee generating pools, which are typically the best pools to go into when doing stuff like scale out. And typically when we're actively trading these, those are the types of pools we want to go into, just because that's where all the volume is going to go.
So these are so what's the difference between this and let's say like a limit order?
Well, with the limit order, you're not necessarily going to gain fees on top of that. So
Got it.
the whole thing that we're trying to sell here is like you're making your bags work for you.
So it's like a limit
Uh,
order, but you're providing liquidity. You're a liquidity provider.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So we also like to think of it in terms of like, hey, we're providing emergency liquidity when it's needed most. Sometimes, like especially when it's a high volume pair when volatility is
Yeah.
crazy. That's typically where you want to have a lot of liquidity, just so you're reducing the effects
Yeah.
of
So I'm
slippage
going
and
to
stuff like that.
translate this back to, sorry to cut you off, back to the chart analogy that I was
Yeah,
using
yeah, yeah.
earlier. So trader shows up, they look at the chart and they say, okay, I see the price of launch coin is 0.049. I want to buy at that price. If I spend $10,000, I'm going to move the chart up and I'm going to get a higher price than I think. But what you guys are doing is saying, hey, I'm seller. I want to offload my launch coin at the current market price rather than getting the slippage of a market sell. So I'm going to provide liquidity in that price bin. So the trader who's looking at the chart gets the price they see on the chart or fairly close to it. And the seller is getting the price that they see on the chart rather than a red candle slightly down for a 10K order.
Yeah,
So yeah.
essentially, yeah. As long as there's enough liquidity in that price
All
bin,
right.
yeah, typically
I
yes.
love it. So I know this is math and there's a lot of advanced stuff here, but this is really important infrastructure because I think what we want to do is level up the people trading. And now these tools make it easy, but this is stuff that like firms do. This is how firms move in and out of orders and this is like pros do this kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, for sure. It's a very important topic to understand, I think,
Yeah.
especially if you're actively trading in the space.
So with all that knowledge now, so people come to Starseed, they connect their wallet, and now they can both buy and sell tokens using this process, right?
Correct. Yes, yes. Actually, Razor has gone into a few positions right now that he could probably explain the thought process behind that.
Yeah, so I've opened up a number of positions leading up to this stream. Just looking at charts, looking at some of the analysis. One of the tokens that's been really popping off in the last like day or so is this LLM token. It's got a bit of some sell-off pressure right now, but let's say that this is something I view as having more meme potential, and I want to get a piece of the action. So I could take a look at a token. And I have several widgets on my screen that help me kind of identify how I want my strategy for considering a position. So I have the price chart widget, which is powered by GMGN. I have a indicator, volume profile, visible range indicator, which is why I have all these bars, these rows on the right hand of the screen to indicate where all the volume is occurring on this token or has occurred in the past. And I have other widgets on the screen that help me as well. So using Jupyter Pro, we have this top traded widget, which helps pull some of the volume levels from the last 5 minutes, or you could change that to a different period if you so choose. And also this powerful top pools widget. So if I'm interested in looking at a token like LLM, I could look at the volume profile range and see that there's a likelihood that we could continue to the price could lapse a little bit and start to consolidate around this 14 million market cap level. Well, maybe now I want to think, okay, maybe I want to open up a soul-sided position so that I collect fees and start to accumulate tokens as that price action continues to decline. I want to know what pool I should enter into. So I could look at the top pools widget here, put in the contract address for LLM, and it will populate with the top performing pools for LLM. And I can see information about how many fees these pools are collecting in the last 15 minutes here, how much liquidity has been provided, how much volume is going through these pools, so that I can make an educated judgment on where I want to put in my capital. And I can quickly tell here that the top pools were just ranked and sorted this into the best positions here. So I can click on open a position. I can put up some SOL to enter, and it will provide me Starseed with a recommended range. And you can continue to, you can accept Starseed's recommended range, or you can continue to make some adjustments and tweaks to that so that you are in control of the fate of your destiny. So I'm going to actually go for a bit of a slightly broader position.
And quickly to butt in real quick, just to touch on this, are there, when Starseed kind of recommends a range, is that just based on anything like set in stone, or is there like AI prediction kind of involved with that?
Yeah, we have a algorithm set in place that does math behind the scenes based on the volume that the pool is experiencing, along with the fees that the pool is earning.
Yeah, it's more so there to give you a guiding hand. So, like, you shouldn't obviously just follow it as gospel every single time, like Razor's doing right now. I think it recommended a 1% price difference, which would be a pretty tight curve or a tight position to provide liquidity. But here he's changing it to be a 10% drop down instead, which is a bit more conservative. So, of course, like I said, it's just a guiding hand to help people to say, like, hey, maybe look at this level. It could be interesting when you're entering a position.
So I have the confirmation screen for a Phantom Wallet transaction. Didn't show up on my screen share, but now I've opened the position and it should pop up in the LP positions widget in maybe 30 seconds or so.
Got it. And your seed phrase didn't pop up, so don't worry, you're good there. All right, so this is cool. I might actually just ask a quick side question. Those volume bars on the right side, the blue and yellow, how do traders generally think about these? You know, I think you're more of a sophisticated trader. I'm sure people have seen these before, but yeah, how do you look at these? How do you interpret that volume profile?
So, I mean, I'm heavily a proponent of using stuff like volume profile. I think in general, when we're doing LPing, the metric that we care about the most, honestly, is volume. We're not going to play pools if there isn't enough volume there because it's not interesting most of the time, unless it's a promising project. You know, something like Launchcoin where we want to like accumulate in terms of either DCing into it over a couple days or accumulating fees. Then there, it's great, even if it might be low volume every now and then. But something like volume profile here, like the biggest bar you see, I think you can see the red line on this stream right now. That's the point of control, which is the area of highest volume. And typically, if you're playing a DLMM around that spot, you're going to see some decent fees, especially on tokens that are popping up on the top traded widget. So something like this really shows you a good little support range or potential consolidation range for decent volume. So that's typically how we trade it, and we tell users that are using our platform to trade with that volume profile. So yeah, no, it's pretty great. Like here, you can kind of see on the time frame you selected, it tends to gravitate towards and consolidate around that point of control, which means that around that range, pretty decent place to provide liquidity.
Right. And so this is where areas of the chart where most buying and selling is happening.
Essentially, yes. Yep.
And so price likes to go into these areas. Now, if price deviates above them, so let's say we go back and break all-time highs, we're getting into extremely thin volume area historically, right? And it's like, how should traders think about those thin areas?
Yeah, so areas of low liquidity, typically price can jump around it's super volatile,
Right.
essentially. You
Both
see this,
directions too.
yeah, both directions. So like you see this on Razor's chart right now, you see the two big yellow bars. So you've got one where the point of control is, and then if you go a few bars up, you see another huge one. Yeah, like around there, around, I think that's the 0.022 or something like that. So those two areas will have decent liquidity right now, which means that once it goes there, you will see less volatility, but in between that,
No.
Think we might have lost him.
Oh.
Yo, these are
Wi-Fi's
great
killing.
clips. I want the clips, bro.
Wi-Fi's killing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the clip, we'll get our clipper to put like a spinning circle or something.
Right.
Is my
Well,
internet
wow.
on the fritz?
Yeah,
Oh, there we
you're
go.
good.
You're
Yeah,
back.
yeah. My internet was out of range. I got low liquidity over here. I'm sorry.
Dude, yeah.
No, sorry about that. So I don't know where I cut off exactly, but essentially you can use like volume profile, just not even in just like meme coins like this, but you can use it in traditional markets. And like if you look at the Sol chart, even that, you can see the areas of low liquidity when you look on the daily and weekly. And my God, like you can see how volatile it is in those areas of really low liquidity. And it's just a great study to have, honestly. Yeah, like you can see like, oh, like this place will be a very high level of resistance or support. And those can even be great areas to long and short if you are into stuff like perps, which is something we track on our dashboard as well. If you do those kinds of plays. So yeah, no, I think it's a great study. It's honestly the only study I use on meme coins right now, and I find it fairly effective.
Yeah. And so if I were to summarize this view right here that we're looking at, so that red line's where most of the buying and selling has happened. As you get further up to the upside, you're
Yeah.
getting more people into profit who are more likely, higher probability that they're going to sell.
Yeah.
Which then kind of, can reverse the chart to a new,
Yeah.
till it finds a new equilibrium.
Yep. Correct.
Cool. Well, this show, we want to educate people as well, right? I know this is not necessarily core part of your product, but it's part of the mindset of traders and their thinking process that we want to pull out from you guys and give to everyone else. So that's why we're asking these questions.
Oh no, we're huge proponents of education here. And in fact, like we run these things called Starseed Academy. And we actually have a show tomorrow at 10 a.m. EST where we go over Meteora in a lot more depth. Like we have slides that we created. In fact, we probably should have pulled them up here, like I said.
Yeah, pull up.
Probably would've been
Do you want to pull up a link to that so people can find it? I'll link it in the
slides.
replies as well.
Yeah. Let me get a link to that.
What could people expect from your Starseed Academy? Because I've seen this, and I know
Yeah.
something like the LLMing or stuff like that can be very tricky. What do you guys provide there?
So we give a brief overview of Meteora and all its components. So like we go over like what a bin is, how to provide liquidity, what it means to concentrate liquidity. We go over the different strategies that you can employ, like there's curve, spot, and bid ask, and we talk about how you can combine stuff like that because it's a lot to take in, honestly. Which is why also we release stuff like ScaleOut so anyone can just get into it quickly without really knowing much. And we kind of condensed it into easy to use words like fast, medium, or something a bit more conservative. But that's essentially what it is. We go over that, and then we go into our live trading session where we do a more in-depth look at Starseed and how to set it up, how to set up the various widgets for first-time users, how to use it if you're a seasoned user of Meteora and you really understand what LPing is and how you can use Starseed to essentially level up your game. But yeah, no, we're like huge proponents of education in the system. Like we don't want anyone going into it blind, but of course, if you do go into it blind, then we want to make the experience seamless with easy to use features.
So I linked to that in the replies of the MCG. Go follow Microcap Gems. We need to get the account to 1K by the end of August.
Yes, you will.
Please
You
help
will
us
hit that.
out. So I want to talk about the business a little bit more generally because you have a token. It's called the Seed token.
Yep.
Maybe what is your fee model that drives kind of your business? How do you guys make money?
So we make money based on the transactions that users operate through the website. So anytime that you use Starseed to open a DLMM position, close a DLMM position, or claim, fees from the platform, we take cuts of that. So every time that someone opens a position, for example, there's a very small 0.004 SOL fee attached to that, which not much for a single position, but if we expect them to be using the platform over time, I've done thousands of positions, for example, that accumulates over time. But really, like the significant fee revenue generator would be through when people claim fees. So you can see right now in my LP positions widget, I have $10 of unclaimed fees. When you go to claim those fees, Starseed takes a 2.5% cut of that. And so that for small positions like these isn't much, but given that you have some really significant positions and people are making 10% gains, 20% gains, etc., that stacks and accumulates over time. So those are two of the main ways by which we generate platform revenue. And then we've used that revenue to feed it into the Starseed token through what we call our infinite flywheel.
Got it. And if I were to give an example of a trade, so let's say I had 100K that I was transacting through the platform in typical, market order. Some platforms charge as much as 1% fee on that 100K to buy or sell a position. Are you guys, what is your fee? I don't know if there's like a number, how many basis points, but yeah.
Yeah, so we only charge on the profits made. So if you put
Right.
in, say, if you even put in $1 million into our platform and you only made like $10 on that, right? And you close the position, we only charge fees on that $10.
Wow. Okay.
So and if that's, we only charge that on profit. Keep
Yeah.
in mind, if you don't have profit, you're not paying any claim fees on our platform. It's just the standard opening and closing fee, which is if you don't hold any tokens, is around 0.004 Sol in value, which is very small right now. And of course, the more tokens you hold, we have various tranches starting at 250K tokens. That value drops lower and lower. And if you hold 10 million tokens right now, it's a 0% claim fees, 0% position opening and closing fees. So like say if you did put $1 million and you hit an absolute banger and you made 500K, you wouldn't pay no fees on our platform if you held 10 million tokens. So we do have stuff like that where it provides like further utility to holding the token, especially if you're a power user on Meteor. Like we have a few guys that are opening so many positions daily and they hold tokens and they see a reduction in fees, which is great for them with using our platform.
And I want to touch on that real
pull
quick.
up your token real quick here. Sorry, Dom, I'll let you speak, but here's the token. If you want to find it, it's Seed is the token handle.
Yeah. So you said you have those power users that, that have really found benefit in using your platform. In our video, just leading up to the show, we watched that you guys had a pretty explosive launch. You had over 1,000 users, you said. What does that look like today? Do you still have a pretty decent user base? Is it growing? What are some metrics there?
Yeah, no, we still have a decent number of users that are on our platform daily. Shady, I don't know if you could rattle off any numbers that you have.
Yeah. So in the past 3 days, we've had about 740 some active users. So that's just like people are going there and actually performing actions, whether it be opening positions, closing, or if they're just monitoring positions. That's just how we classify an active user.
That's pretty big. That's 700 people that are actually using the platform daily, not just logging on or into the platform. It's actual transactions.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Actually, one of the most popular tools that we had is our top pools widget. I mean, it's just a very actionable info, and like if you're DLMMing, that's a great tool to have up at all times. But the one thing that we think will actually drive our platform to an insane degree in terms of customer acquisition and users, and this is something we're just revealing now for the first time, going to great depth, is our automation. So we want to introduce stuff like take profit, stop loss, and introduce that with ScaleOut even. So people that really don't know anything about Meteor, like I said, when they're using ScaleOut, they still have to monitor the position, which is a pain point. But if we combine that with automation, that'll automatically scale them out. It'll close the position and then they just get SOL in their wallet and whatever fees. They don't have to do anything with it. Everything's just on autopilot. And I think eventually the market is kind of trending into that that space where everything is going to be automated to some degree. And if you don't do that sort of stuff, then you kind of hurt your chances at making gains, I think. So I think as the market trends towards that, we're going to get a lot more customers, and our automation is going to be very seamless and simple compared to a lot of the competitors out there that you see. That I think it's going to be a great onboarding tool.
No, I think you're totally right. There's really only one direction to go, and it's automated. So that's gonna be a really cool feature. Awesome. So we covered. What about some future outlooking thoughts? You just covered the automation, so like there's a little bit there. What can everyone expect next for you guys?
Automation is probably the next big thing that we're going to release, just because it's more of an all-encompassing thing that's going to be feature rich. So that covers stuff like the take profit, stop loss. We're going to introduce stuff like swapless rebalancing, because a huge pain point with current automated rebalancing is that when you're swapping tokens, you're introducing slippage there too. So you'll see a lot of case reports where people have done stuff like rebalancing where it swapped a position and then they lost like maybe $1,000, $10,000 just because there were issues there when they were rebalancing. So what we want to do is we want to take currently like stuff that's out of range bins, and just swap it over to something that's closer to the current price point rather than doing a full-on token swap. So we just want to kind of shuffle things around, and that should be a game changer, we think, if we are able to get that working, which I think we should be able to. But yeah, no, stuff like that I think will make it so that people really jump into our platform and use it.
Those are
Yeah,
those are some of like the major upcoming releases, but really Starseed is a platform because we have this widget-based system to where we can add any number of other features too. Like you have a lot of other great folks that come on this show with very interesting products. We could partner with them too and introduce new widgets that help expand the utility of Starseed so that there are additional use cases. Like we already do perpetual monitoring. We already do have these widgets that help with people getting into new token launches. So there's a lot more that we can put on there.
On the
we have
perpetuals
partnerships.
monitoring, are you monitoring the liquidation levels or the open interest at different price ranges?
So right now, it's just currently we're waiting for Jupiter to put out a more enhanced perps API. But so right now, it's just monitoring. But of course, I mean, we're looking into other stuff like doing things with hyper EVM potentially down the line, and having a full-on type of perps market that people can trade on, similar to stuff like Axiom, if you're familiar with their perps platform. But ideally, we'd love to stick with Jupiter, and I believe they're going to be enhancing their offerings in terms of what you can short and long. And hopefully, when they release that enhanced API, we're going to obviously integrate it very quickly.
Cool. I mean, I think that kind of covered my next question too. My next question would be like, what are your next immediate steps to just expand growth and bloom this thing into a major household name platform? And I think you kind of covered it, but if there's anything additionally on that front you'd want to add, any plans, visions, maybe marketing, like whatever it might be.
Yeah, I mean, we have a huge marketing stint that we're doing with Meteorite Collective, with Vesper and all that. Once we do ship out this next level of automation, we were going to hopefully get Meow on board to help really promote the scale out, especially since we're really targeting the Uranus community first. So Meteora and Meteorite Collective will really help push that when we release that new enhanced level.
Do you think like this independent targeting has been helpful, where it's like you find one community that's really passionate about it and just like kind of go all in on them for a little bit and
Oh yeah, no, I
cross-pollinate
think.
those users?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. And I think the Uranus community kind of showed that when you target those communities that have a high holder count, high market cap, the top brass in those tokens, the top holders, they really are on board with the messaging that, hey, don't dump the chart, provide liquidity instead. and enhance the overall chart experience. So I think a lot of people can resonate with that, especially current holders and top holders. So yeah, I think that's the way for us to go about customer acquisition, is to really go into those like high level or high market cap tokens and really spread our gospel that way.
Don't dump to the chart movement. There
Yes,
we go.
yes. Protect the bottom.
Protect the bottom movement. I love it.
Yeah.
Protect
You
the
guys
anus.
can coin that.
Protect your
Yeah,
anus.
no,
right?
yeah, protect your anus. Yeah,
You,
I mean, that's what
you
we're
heard
doing.
it here first on the Microcap Gem Show. Just saying.
Yeah, don't dump Uranus. Just starseed it instead.
Yeah.
There you go.
See that anus, baby.
Seeding
That's
Uranus. Batman, it's seeding Uranus, not what you said.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
This is
I got to be
Bro,
too
this
excited.
we're a children's network.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, I
No.
got demonetized just from that comment alone.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but super cool stuff, and we love how you're educating the people and broader community, because it is a big pain point for a lot of people getting into stuff and just learning these technicals and getting over these hurdles. So a platform that can encompass it, and then your academy is really nice. And I think you guys covered pretty much a good chunk of what you guys have to offer, and we had linked that in the comments, the Starseed Academy. So if you guys want any more information on them, follow Starseed, follow the team, and tune in tomorrow for your live stream. You guys want to plug that, or one more time?
Yeah, no, for sure. So tomorrow, 10 a.m. EST 14, I think 1400 UTC, right? We're going to be doing a Starseed boot camp where we're going to go over Meteora. We're going to go over the finer details of Meteora, and then go over our Starseed platform from beginning to end. So it's going to be great for new users that really want to learn how to play around with our platform and set it up.
Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for coming on, guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us. This was absolutely wonderful. Loved it.